Man, Tej Wilson, aka Brother Tej. How y'all doing? I am right here with Sister, the Goddess Queen, in my Ansah. Say what's up to the people, sis.
Hey, ADNC fam. I hope all is well. Happy Friday. We are
Happy
back again for
Friday.
Facts Only Friday.
Facts only Friday. And this is how we do. Listen, there's always a hot topic that comes up in the week before in regards to someone or something in the African diaspora, the Black family, globally speaking. And President Trump just threw us a softball. This is the easy thing to talk about because he's known for setting the news cycle on fire with some controversial. And he did just that at the State of the Union with a whole bunch of weird behavior. And then our brother Al Green said, I was like, hold up, Al Green? What you mean, Al Green? Like, let's stay together, Al Green? No, not that Al Green. Another Al Green stood up and just had to put a sign out there that said, was that Black people are not monkeys.
Apes.
Aren't apes, right. Some large brain primate that is subhuman. We are not that. And it looked like that makes people upset. Like, what do you mean they're not apes? What do you mean? I'm like, look, bruh, we are in a weird situation right now where these folks are showing their whole actual backside. So what was your thoughts when you saw this, Miss Emma?
So I'm gonna go back to the actual meme that I just refuse to even continue to
Let's start
allow
there.
it to give it life. But if you've been living under a rock, you haven't seen, but I'm sure everybody has seen at this point that meme that Donald Trump posted, and I'm saying Donald Trump posted on his Truth Social account. And I'm just gonna say this. I don't understand the obsession with the Obamas that he has, because
he sure do got this obsession, don't he?
We're talking about the 2020 election, and he still feels like it was rigged and stolen. And fast forward to 2026, you are in office and you are still obsessed about the Obamas. So this meme that he posted, the White House has come up with so many different stories. First, they said, well, why don't you just get over it and think about all the great things that Donald Trump has done? And then it was supposed to be a throwback to the Lion King. Last time I checked, there were no apes in the Lion King. And also they did it with other people. I think they had Hillary Clinton on a donkey, or there were all these other memes. But the only one that was there, or the one that's actually being displayed, I should say, was the one of the Obamas. So in my humble opinion, it was straight up racist. It was deliberate. I don't care what anybody in that administration wants to say. It was deliberate. Okay. And they had to clean it up, but it took them 15 hours to clean that mess up. Because, they were standing 10 toes down in it. 10 toes down in what they did, as far as I'm concerned. So that's my feeling on that. I just want to go back. Now, as far as Representative Al Green, look, this isn't the first time he's done this, right? He is known to be an activist. He's known to be one that, rocks for our people and is an advocate and is, fearless. And he will go into any space where he feels like he's got the right audience and, present a strong message. So I'm not mad at him for what he did, but I see that people are.
And I'm like, so this is the issue, right? So let's say that you're somebody who don't like Al Green holding up that sign that says Black people are not apes. I want to ask you to check your heart for a second. Why are you upset? And why might you be more upset at him than Trump? Why are you upset at the Black man who is making the statement that needs to be made when this person, who is technically the most powerful person in the world, demeaned the humanity of Black folks before this very world? Why are you more mad at him, Al Green, than you are at Donald Trump? Like, I don't understand this. I feel that it's important to draw attention to the phenomenon of displacement. A lot of Black folks haven't heard this term because it's just now coming into the popular lexicon of psychology. But displacement means there is a legitimate gripe and cause of anger that gets displaced at another target. legitimate gripe and cause for anger that gets displaced at another target. And the thing about displacement is the target that is reselected and re-engaged and displaced and aimed at seems more accessible to the angry person than the one who originally caused the anger. Black folks, we have that in spades all over. It is the advent of our trauma. It is a part and parcel of being brutalized and internalizing the kind of violence that causes one to necessarily be angry. And we put it where it don't belong, a place that's closer. Somebody who is more familiar to us, and we see this in the hood all the time. I've been saying the gangstercism, the thugging that we see in the hood is frustrated revolutionary energy that was supposed to be aimed at white supremacy during the age of the Black Panthers. That's displaced now on brothers and sisters who seem more accessible. And I feel that the Black people who are more upset at Al Green for saying that we're not apes, Black people more upset at Al Green for saying that Black people are not apes than they are at Trump for implying that we are. That's displacement. Check your heart, check your psychology, get back to us.
And there's Black people that are defending Trump's actions.
Yeah, that so we call that the sunken place. We can't do nothing about them folk. That's the sunken place right there. You need somebody to run a spoon across a teacup or something like that to get y'all out of there. That's that sunken place. I can't even touch them folks. They too far gone.
Yeah, and I will say this, whether or not you voted for Barack Obama, or whether or not you agreed with whether or not he did anything for the country or didn't do anything for the country, whether or not you liked him or don't like him, whether or not you like Michelle Obama or don't like her. The fact is, these are two Black people, and that was a racist act. That was an anti-Black racist act. And you can call it whatever you want. You can try and spin it. It was about the Lion King. You can try and find every excuse under the book. We know as Black people, since the beginning of time, even some scientists say we came from apes. This is how we formed, right?
Evolved, evolution, right?
We have always been attributed to that animal, that one, and the one that starts with an M, so we know what this is.
And,
right. The fact that anybody wants to say it isn't is beyond, but let us go ahead and watch what happened, just to remind everybody who hasn't seen it, what happened at the State of the Union. Yeah. Let's just take a look at this.
At its moments, at one point, Democrat Al Green was kicked out of the House chamber. Green held up a sign reading, "Black people aren't apes." That prompted officials to escort the Texas representative from the chamber. Green says the sign was his response to video Trump shared depicting former President Barack Obama and former First Lady Michelle Obama as primates.
I wanted him to know that portraying the President Obama and First Lady Obama as members of the primate family is not only unacceptable, it is something that is deplorable and something that we will not tolerate. At least I will not. And I wanted him to get close to someone who could tell him to his face.
Trump, you will recall, received widespread condemnation after his social media account posted and then deleted that image.
So that's the first one. And then we're going to hear from Representative Al Green even further. So let's just take a look.
Days when you could call Black people N-words with impunity, when you could demand that Black people show respect that was not deserved, when Black people were relegated to the back of the bus, they were relegated to the balcony of the movie and the bottom of the jails. This is unacceptable. Black people are not going back, Mr. President. Black people are going to move forward with the rest of this country. And I'm giving notice today that we will not tolerate this level of injustice emanating from the highest office in this country, from the presidency. People are waiting for us to let them know that we don't agree, and this is the best way to signal to them we don't agree, with articles of impeachment, where we can make our case, explain it to the public and then take a vote on it and show the public that a majority of the people in the House of Representatives differ.
So we know that Al Green has been out here with a blowhorn saying we need to impeach this man.
From the very beginning.
From the very beginning. Okay.
You know, a lot of people don't know that Al Green was the literal first person ever in Congress to advocate for his impeachment. And he did it like the first scandal in Trump's first term. He was like, impeach him. And then, of course, we know that in his first term, Trump was impeached twice, back to back. So it's a thing that he's always been on. He's somebody who says never Trump. But if I could, Emma, could I address a couple of things that he brought up there?
Sure, of course.
Yeah, because first of all, the main critique that I've heard about Al Green is that he's kind of got that, people call it a faux civil rights thing. He's like got that black preacher. He's a advocate for the Poor People's Campaign and things like that. But I have seen him to be genuine in that. I've seen Al Green to actually stand up when it mattered and when nobody was looking for the Poor People's Campaign and for that old civil rights. A lot of people disagree with, you know what I'm saying, Jim Clyburn and the John Lewises of the world who just got that old school civil rights, we shall overcome energy. And I used to be like that too. I've been way more the school of Malcolm X than I have the school of Dr. King and civil rights and peaceful resistance until I actually analyzed it. And I said, okay, these civil rights kind of guys, though they have been in the pocket of the Democratic Party way too often, have let too much slide from the Democrats, and that does deserve critique. A lot of us who criticize the integration era take for granted what this era gave us. And you have to understand that the reason why a lot of us are able to literally just speak up as revolutionarily as we want to, as pro-black as we want to, is in your face and knock these folks out when they actually put their hands on us when we want to and have civil rights legislation to back us up. It was these kind of brothers, these NAACP Urban League kind of brothers and sisters that we'd be like, y'all again, you all sit in, you all say we shall overcome, brothers, but the foundation of what we have in terms of the modernity that Black folks have in being integrated in the system and our leverage to strike back against racist white supremacists now, even physically, even the ability to legally knock these folk teeth out when they put their hands on us actually was given to us by the civil rights Al Green type. So I just want y'all to put that in perspective because we have a right to hold that kind of Democrat always folk accountable for not holding the Democrats accountable. But don't take for granted what has been given to us that we stand upon in this current era that we have leverage to strike back now, even up and into including physical force. They gave that to us. Put some respect on it and then let's analyze it.
And you know, Al Green is one of the people that I really am seeing that's really out here doing that.
He look
like he is doing the thing.
He's doing it, yo. If you know him, you know what he's doing.
And like I said, because I'm seeing in the chat here, a lot of people are not rocking with Al Green. So I'm just gonna read some of this. Al Green is well, I guess he's saying unintelligent, but I'm not going to repeat that word. Dear Representative Green, where are the policies to help Black America? So, you know, I feel like people feel like, yeah, you go and you rah, but what else are you doing? Like, what else are you doing for Black America? I feel like a lot of people feel that way about Al Green.
Right. And so these are the things about Al Green that stick out. But remember, a congressperson's job is to vote on certain bills or against certain bills. Do those people have a record of what he's voted for when it comes to like there's these civil rights guys, right, who vote for menial things. A lot of people don't realize that the government is boring. You know what I mean? But when it comes to policies that affect the poor, for example, his voting record includes things like not allowing credit card companies to overcharge the poor, right? And this was, you know, way back in the day, but this is just an example of the menial things that pass by, right? Appropriations bills that may have some pork belly spending underneath them that would allow the increase of prison for profit. He'll vote against that, right? Things, the boring stuff of government that actually matters and shows up in the three-dimensional world is not what he gets attention for. It's the things that he does to stick out that people like, that don't mean nothing to me, right? But he wouldn't have got here had he not served his district and his county or whatever in order to get some momentum behind his career. And then he does these things that stick out. So if you don't understand the boring inner workings of government, you know, then it's hard to see the value of these folks. But these are the things that keep stuff running. Consumer protections, right? And of course, will we like absolutely to have things specifically for Black Americans? Hell yeah, keep standing on that, keep fighting for that. Hold them accountable to that. You ain't never gonna hear me say somebody beyond reproach. Is what you never gonna hear me say. I ain't never gonna say that. Ain't nobody beyond.
There's no perfect person.
Ain't no perfect person. And I ain't never gonna agree with everything that anybody does, including myself. So look, but just keep that in mind and keep that in the balance, because solidarity look like erring on the side of the benefit of the doubt for your folk, right? You got a problem with them, pull them aside. Hey, Playboy, we need you to stand on business more for Black Americans, speak up more for reparations, push some bills that are concerning that. But until you check actually his voting record, like in Congress, maybe pull that back.
Also, I think, you know, people need to, so I know I do this here in Canada too, right? You have the option to read everything that they're doing. You have the option to go and see all the policies that they're getting behind. So just seeing him on camera with the sign and people are, I'm actually really quite surprised at what I'm reading here. You know, a lot of people are not rocking with him, and I'm really, I'm a bit befuddled, I have to say, because I will say this: there's so much that goes on in politics here in Canada that really work against our community, but we don't have an Al Green that's out here like that. We don't have one of those people that's really holding the feet to the fire of you know, the liberal government and everything that's going on. Unless you're in the House of Commons and you're like watching the debates, there's nobody that's really in there like us, like that, you know? And so for me personally, on this side of the border, and I'm seeing this, I'm like, and I've gone and read everything that he stands for. So like you said, there's no perfect person. I'm not going to agree with everything.
Nobody beyond reproach.
Right. But I'm going to go back to this. I'm keeping it about merit. This man that is supposed to be, you know, arguably the most powerful man, right? Posted a meme of two people that are Black using the trope that has been used against us since the beginning of time. I'm talking about this particular instance. And we have somebody who had the courage to go in front of them and say, look, and holding up a sign. Okay, you can agree or disagree that maybe that wasn't the best way to do it. That's
literally peaceful civil disobedience. Literally peaceful civil disobedience. Not only that, but did y'all see that there was a white man who tried to take the sign from him?
Yes.
There was a white man who literally, there's video of this, who tried to take the sign, and Al Green was just quick on the draw. He was bigger than the white dude too. So it's like, he's like, Playboy, what you doing, right? And it's like, bro, Black people with this displacement be killing me with this, yo. This displacement. We got legitimate anger. But the Black person is easier, more accessible, it feels, to us to put that anger upon. And I guarantee you a lot of them folks didn't do what you did, Emma, which was, okay, actually look at his voting record and what he stood for, look at his legislative qualifications, and then be like, balance that out. You know what I mean? So it's like the displacement be showing up online because unfortunately, a lot of people that don't read still got smartphones, right? And look, I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna say it because as journalists, it takes us doing our due diligence and academic rigor. When I wrote for other newspapers, right? I wrote for the Colorado Sun here. I also wrote for the Denver Urban Spectrum. my editor would send me back if I couldn't back up a fact and say either find a supporting documentation for this thing that you were asserting, or we must cut it out. And they did that because me as a reporter, as a representative of them, could draw upon them legal liability. And it wouldn't be enough just to fire me. They would have to pay a larger price if they got sued for slander or libel. And so therefore, a lot of people who got something to say haven't done the due diligence. And it's like, what in the Dunning-Kruger? And when I say Dunning-Kruger, people don't even know what I'm talking about a lot of times, which would be proved that they got Dunning-Kruger. But Dunning-Kruger be like, you think you know, so you don't know you dumb. You think you know, so you don't know that you dumb because you're not doing research to find out where you might be stupid and need to grow. See what I'm saying? There's hella Dunning-Kruger going on. You think you smart, so you don't do research. And then it turned out that you never lift your ceiling of intelligence. But the fact is, smart people know that they don't know enough. Smart people know that they don't know enough, so they're always seeking. And with us as journalists, we're always checking our facts against the backdrop of legal liability for the entity that we're reporting for. Y'all need to do that, form a better opinion, come on back. Oh, non-research having people.
Agree. Education is key. And like I said, these things aren't, it's not in a vault. It's not private, documents and what have you. So, you have the opportunity to go and look and then make an informed decision about what you think. Again, I'm here in Canada, but like Theo said, as journalists, as responsible journalists, you have to do the homework. You got to, and then you can bring the facts and offer your opinion, right? So in my humble opinion, let me give you an example. Our former Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, when he was in college, on more than one occasion, he appeared in blackface.
I've seen that.
Okay, so then now fast forward to he's the prime minister, and it resurfaced because people were like, well, hang on. This man is an outstanding racist, right? And then he came on camera and said, I didn't know, I was in college, I didn't know better. Not to mention the fact that his daddy was also the prime minister. So you mean to tell me you didn't know any of this? So I say all that to say is that, me as a responsible journalist, I'm going to look at that. I'm going to look at everything he's supposed to be offering to this country. I'm going to look at all the policies. I'm going to look at the history of him in blackface. And then I'm coming forward and I'm saying, here is the facts and here's my opinion. So again, I am going to focus on what this man did. Your president did. And whether or not you agree with Al Green, I see somebody is saying that he's just another anti-Black politician. Hey, Isaac, how you doing? His behavior at the State of the Union was political theater. A lot of people are saying that he's just clowning, he's joking, he's just a clown. And I'm just like, in my mind, I'm thinking, I wish there was somebody that would do something like that here. And when you see a prime minister who was, I call him Prime Minister Blackface because of that. Just so people know, I'm not just saying it out of my mouth for no reason. I call him that because he did it on more than one occasion. So, I wish that we would have people that would show up like that for Black people here in Canada. And again, I'm keeping it about what he did, and I'm looking at what he's trying to do for the country.
No, seriously. And let's take a look at, you want to talk about political theater? Our president was a reality TV show host and worked for WWE Wrestling. Like, what you talking about? Like, our president literally, like that fool. Like, he was a reality show host who was low-key mad that Gwen Stefani got paid more than him and got roasted by Seth Meyers and President Obama in the 2011 White House Correspondents' Dinner, and threw a hissy fit and ran for president. Happened to win because the Democrats picked a crappy candidate. So all this to say, political theater, you want political theater? Like, Trump couldn't give you the nuances of the legislation that he passes because he don't be thinking, and his brain is fried. He about as senile as Joe Biden. Political theater. Like, see, one thing that I know is that I'm Black and I'm not above any of the faults that we have as a people. So I examine myself because I have directed my anger at other black people who I thought was whack in a way that is a symptom of displacement. The anger I should have at white supremacy, the rage, the rightful rage, the justifiable wrath that I should have as a black man at white supremacy, I've straight up displaced towards black people. Straight up. I've done that before. You see what I'm saying? And so I want to sway the conversation in a certain direction, because why is it problematic that white people depict us as apes? Why is that problematic? Let's really talk about what he's trying to do. And why is it so important not to let it slide? Because of the fact that you never know the butterfly effect of letting something slide. You don't know. You don't know what that's going to be. When I feel Barack Obama, we're going to take it back to him running for president in 2007, 2008. Didn't G-check Rush Limbaugh for making that song Barack the Magic Negro? I don't know if y'all seen it. But Barack Obama should have G-checked I'm talking about roasted him, clowned him, drug him to the ground, drove him out of radio when Rush Limbaugh made that song Barack the Magic Negro.
Yep.
That should have been the last day he broadcasted. If I was Barack Obama, and see, Barack Obama wasn't too bad with the wit. He could have like roasted him, clowned him, made him look like an idiot. Barack the Magic Negro, right? You know what I'm saying? But that permission is space for a butterfly effect. That's not the only thing, but that permission is space for the people to be like, oh, I could say something unchecked now, right? That emboldened folks. And so you actually got to check it where you see it. And the next thing, the specific monkey trope comes from an era in anthropology from the 1800s, where Charles Darwin had just published his Origin of Species, which contained the theory of evolution, which led to an era of scientific racism and phrenology, where they would examine black people's skulls and say that because of something called subnasal prognatism, which is the jutting of our teeth forward, that is an adaptation to the African climate, that we were somehow less than human because of these traits. And that is what justified the scientific racism. When my grandfather was born here in this country in 1923, my granddaddy was born in New York City, 1923. Scientific racism was still very much a thing. He was not considered a full human being, right? People forget that a lot of the resistance to integration during the civil rights movement from the white side. Now, we know that Malcolm X was like, do for self. We don't need to integrate with them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the justification that the white people had was that black folks aren't actually fully human anyway. We don't want them integrating with us and poisoning the gene pool by mating with our daughters because they're not all the way human. They're closer to apes than they are people. They are an in-between species. They literally thought that we were an in-between species until the Human Genome Project proved that we are one species. This is how long this scientific racism lasts. And if something's not fully human, well, you can be as inhumane as you want. You can hang them from trees. You can dissect their bodies, turn them into scientific experiments, the whole nine. You can't permit this to stand. This can't stay here in the public discourse. If it stays here in the public discourse, the butterfly effect unchecked could land in unforetold places, including your backyard. You mad at Al Green. You mad at Al Green. Ain't that something? More mad at Al Green, right, than you are Donald Trump. Look at the displacement and get back to us after you check your heart and check your head.
This is the thing. And, talking about the racist trope, which is, this animal, I always say this. The physical attributes of this animal is in closer proximity to the folks than it is us.
The folk, right.
Yes. And so it's like, I know I'm about to sound a little petty, but
I'm just riding this wave. I'm just riding this wave.
But I'm just saying, if you look at the physical traits
of this
Are we
going there? Go ahead.
Thin lips.
Oh, Lord.
No behind.
No booty.
Yeah,
no booty.
I mean, even in the way that they act, when they're angry, they want this and they want that, and they'll take this and they take that, and they pitch a fit if they don't get it. So it's very much It's very much giving Becky and Brad, and I guess Karen is the new Karen is Jessica, and Ken and all of that. All of those traits. It's not us.
I mean, look.
Buckhorse is dying of laughter. It is true, Buckhorse. I mean,
look. Here's what I'll say to that. Humans. Okay, so let's take it back to what Al Green said. He said humans. You know what I'm saying? He's like, I don't want it to make it look like that they're in the primate family, but scientifically speaking, humans are in the primate family. Just scientifically speaking, we don't come from them. They're actually finding evidence that we don't actually come from monkeys. That was a whole different thing. So, but humans, genetically speaking, as our place in the biological sphere of animals or beings, we are in the primate family. All of us are, and that's all right. That's all right. We are earthlings. We evolved here. This is what we are, right? I think that Black folks, after having been abused for so long with the monkey trope, we've been called monkey this, monkey that. You know what I'm saying? They do it to this day. They go like this and go ooga booga to us. Black folks started looking at our bodies and started looking at, well, all right, well, okay, if we gonna call monkey a monkey, well, then let's look at you. Right? Black folks, after having been abused, started looking outward and said, hold on. Let's look at the fact that if you shave a chimpanzee, it doesn't have any melanin. Let's look at the fact that African people have longer limb proportions. So Black people, a lot of the reason why we win at track and field don't even have nothing to do with fast twitch muscle. It's because among the races of folks, we have the races of all human beings, we have the shortest torso and the longest leg proportion. That is exactly the opposite of how the morphology of our nearest primate relatives are. It's the exact opposite. We have the largest buttocks. That is true. Butts evolved to hold the torso upright. That's why when you go work out and you do deadlifts and you lift with a straight back and straight legs, it works your butt, right? So Black people started looking at the morphology of the differences between the races and started saying, well, if you're going to call me a monkey, take a look in the mirror first. I think that it's well within our right to do that. I don't prescribe to calling anybody any closer to a monkey than anybody else. That's not my thing. I'll just say that as Theo. That's not my thing. As Brother Tej, that's not what I do. What I will say is that Black folks were within their rights after having been abused with the monkey trope for so long, to perhaps draw the abuser's attention to their similarities to monkeys.
That's
and
it.
Be like, right.
Calling out the hypocrisy. That's all.
Calling out the hypocrisy is well within the right of people who've been abused to do. I just want that to be clear. And what I'll say is this. When you look at the fact that human beings all over the planet, there's no question about this now, descended from African people. What you call us is what you call you.
Yeah.
What you call us is what you call you.
The mirror just in your face,
It is right there. And let's talk about being the original human beings. Let's talk about that, right? Because a lot of people try to deflect from Africa and say, well, they're embracing the fact that they have this Neanderthal heritage now, and they're trying to rebrand Neanderthals as a part of the human species and not a not human species. Is very interesting. But even the Neanderthals' predecessors came from Africa. Even there's another race of semi-humans that the Asians came from called the Denisovans. Even the Denisovans' ancestors came from Africa. So you trying to say, well, we got more Neanderthal and we're not even a part of that? They all came from Africa. No matter how you slice it, Africa is the origin. Black folks are your origin. We've already done the genetics. The only human being on earth that has the DNA capacity to create all other human beings are Black women. That is a fact. That is the mitochondrial.
The first mother is Eve, and she was Black. Period.
Black women's mitochondrial DNA we already know now is the origin DNA for the entire human species, meaning you could splice a black person's DNA and make all other races. You can't take all other races and mix and splice them back to a black person. So what is said about black people is said about the origin of anybody who is a human on this earth. And that's not a privilege we asked for, by the way. Being the originator wasn't what black people asked for. It just happened to be that Africa was where we began and people were doing people things. People were building and doing mathematics and looking at the stars and figuring out astronomy and cultivating the earth and creating ways in which to distribute resources. And we call that civilization and statecraft. We didn't ask to be the first people. We just are. And nor did we ask for somebody to play this game against us. The I'm more human than you game. Black people didn't ask for that. No. We didn't ask for this. And so when it comes to find out that we are the origin, that is cheap comfort compared to what has been taken from us. Cheap comfort.
Theo, I hate to tell you this, Brother Tej, but there are a lot of people in the chat that are not agreeing with you at all. Okay.
That's all right. Look.
Everything that you're saying, Ali Howard Species says this must be the stuff Al Green is thinking about instead of legislation. A lot of people are saying, prove it. What has he done? What has he done? I mean, look.
If you don't go and talk to Dr. Google, I'm in the middle of a live broadcast right now. Excuse me. But first of all, one of the things that Al Green actually stood on business for, legislatively speaking, is the attempt to repeal this the Civil Rights Act. He has stood on business with that. You see, a lot of people say, right, and if you look at his voting record, don't even try to talk to Dr. Google, look at his voting record and come back. Because specifically with the Civil Rights Act, right, and the attempt to repeal it, we don't understand that if we lose our right to vote, we can't even vote for reparations. Like they all work hand in hand, right? He has been a part of several voting majorities when it came to protecting the rights of the poor folk not to be exploited by corporations. This man has done that. His signature is on these bills. He's done this before, right? You can look at the legislation that he's advanced. And if you're so upset by that, oh, Trump voting black folks still. I don't know how people be voting for Trump and still want reparations. I just a lot of these brothers and sisters actually stand with like Charlie Kirk and them. That's weird to me. Oh, but, Charlie Kirk black folk.
But in regards to reparations, this is a little bit of a lane change. When I think maybe part of it might be because when you sat and you heard, Barack Obama at one point not say that he was going to give reparations. And then also Kamala Harris said the same thing too. Like, I'm not going to give reparations to her. I'm not.
Yeah, I ain't going to serve them. That's why I didn't vote for Kamala Harris and I didn't vote for Obama the second time. I couldn't help but vote for Obama back in 2008, man. You know what I'm saying? That dude was walking on water back in 2008, but in 2012, I didn't. You know what I'm saying?
Into it, right?
Right.
He got into the office, right?
Right. He moonwalked right up in the office in 2008, boy. That was a bad boy back in 2008. But right.
For everybody, we here in Canada were watching it. I mean, everybody was
right.
because what a lot of people may not know is a lot of what happens in the United States politically bleeds onto the skin of Canada as well.
Yeah, I believe that.
They say Canada is the number one brother or sister or partner to the United States. So
it's
a
true.
lot of things that happen affects what goes on here in Canada.
For
and
sure.
we are feeling it now with Donald Trump and all these tariffs, this trade war, this tariff tit for tat. And, he's always threatening to raise our tariff and stuff like that. But as it relates to Al Green, I mean,
why are you putting what Kamala and Obama did on Al Green? He's Al Green and that's Kamala and Obama. Oh, displacing again. So let's hold on. Because a lot of this is anger at Black Democrats. Of course, your anger is justified. The Democrats dropped the ball. Look here.
Big time.
Here. Let's address the Roland Martin class, right? Now, this is no shade to our brother Roland Martin. Roland Martin and I have agreed, we've disagreed. But let's talk about the Black Democratic class, who I've said has always been in the pocket of the Democrats without questioning them. They absolutely deserve to be questioned. Listen, they've allowed way too much to slide. And if you know me personally, I didn't win at Obama's neck on several occasions, specifically because my brother went to Iraq when he increased the number of troops in the Middle East. So when my brother went to Iraq, I was like, wait a minute, bro, we actually voted for you to dial down George W. Bush's wars, not ratchet them things up, bro. So my beef with Kamala Harris was that, okay, so you want to be called Mamala, you already running away from Black reparations for foundationals or whatever you want to call us, those of us who are the descendants of the American freedmen, which I'm a proud member of that bloodline. And you don't want to draw down the war, or should I say the genocide in Gaza. You were asked, Kamala Harris, how you would be different from Joe Biden, and you said virtually nothing. Joe Biden is the least popular Democratic president in history. What you like Kamala Harris had a butt whooping coming in the polls, even though I am questioning whether or not Elon Musk actually hacked this election. There's actually some legal cases that are going forward that show some evidence that this election was hacked by Elon Musk and certain people he has behind the scenes. And the Smartmatic, look up the Smartmatic lawsuit. But the point is, she could have even overcame that had she made some old policy decisions of her own and not been so far in the Democratic donor pocketbook. So we deserve to question the Black Democrats. That's not what's in question here.
This is what I'm saying. Let's keep it about what this is, right?
Keep the main thing.
And, from what I even read about, Al Green is he takes on issues like voting rights, like inequality. Right. Like he really is.
He really be standing. Y'all don't know. That's what I'm saying.
He's one person.
He's one dude.
He's one person who has a level of hierarchy and he can do what he can do.
Right.
And he is the one that's in the fight. And like I said, us on this side of the border, Black people looking at that, if we can even get a fraction of that here,
right.
Would be nice. I would definitely welcome that. But before we go into the chat, because the chat is
cracking
on fire. And I want to have some time for the chat. I just want to remind everybody of what your president had to say about that whole meme situation and whether or not he intends to apologize for it.
Down earlier today, the White House says that a staffer sent it. Who sent it, and are you going to fire them?
I looked at it. I saw it, and I just looked at the first part. It was about voter fraud in someplace, Georgia. There's a lot of voter fraud, 2020 voter fraud. And I didn't see the whole thing. I guess during the end of it, there was some kind of a picture that people don't like. I wouldn't like it either, but I didn't see it. I looked at the first part, and it was really about voter fraud and the machines, how crooked it is, how disgusting it is. Then I gave it to the people. Generally, they'd look at the whole thing, but I guess somebody didn't. And they posted, and we took it down, and we did it. But that was a voter fraud that nobody talks about. They don't like to talk about that post. We took it down as soon as we found out about it.
Mr. President, a number of Republicans are calling on you to apologize for that post. Is that something you're going to do?
No, I didn't make a mistake. I mean, I look at a lot of thousands of things, and I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine. They had that one post, and I guess it was a takeoff. By the way, a lot of people covered. If you look at where it came from, I guess it was a takeoff on the Lion King, and certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter fraud. Nobody knew that was at the end. If they would have looked.
There's only one thing I agree with him that he said in that whole piece, which is I didn't make a mistake. Because he didn't.
No, he meant every word.
You did what you wanted to do. I didn't. He's very knee jerk. He just does things, right?
The impulsive, yeah.
Right. So that was the only thing I agree. I think that might have been the only thing he didn't lie about. in that whole thing. Is I didn't make a mistake, so why are you going to apologize? And by the way, why is anybody asking him to apologize? Do you really want somebody who's a certified anti-black racist to apologize for something that, I mean, he did with his whole chest, because that's what he is? So I don't want an apology. That apology would be hollow. It would be fake. It would be what he likes to call fake news.
So much fake news.
Exactly. So I mean, I don't. No, I wouldn't look for an apology from him. At the end of the day, I wouldn't. That's why I'm not mad at what Al Green did. You know, he's going in there and dealing with it. What have you got to say about what Trump had to say?
He a compulsive liar. What you talking about? Like, and so here's how I feel. The office of the president should apologize for that and take accountability. The office of the president. This particular president is Epstein's buddy. Why y'all more mad at Al Green than you are with Epstein's bosom buddy? Tell me that. Because I ain't seen Al Green's name pop up once on the Epstein files. Not once. Donald Trump in the unredacted version of this particular batch is in there over 1 million times. We got parents here more mad at Al Green than they are at Donald Trump, when we have evidence that this man, credible evidence, is a kid rapist. He's a kid rapist. Are you more mad at Al Green for holding up a sign? Look at you, Displacement. Need to read more. Need to talk to OG, read more. Reading's fundamental. Get hooked on phonics. Come back with a real opinion and get about this chat. These student folk, look. These student people, let me tell you something. We in the middle of a whole white supremacist fascist takeover, and you got more smoke for members of your own folk than you got for the people who are actually creating the architecture to redo mass incarceration in a level that we haven't seen it before. Y'all really think that this problem that we got with ICE right now gonna stay focused on these brown folk? Let me tell you something. These same, and I mean these self-same, absolute same, can't make no difference because they is the same, corporations that prison for profited. And I'm talking about Geo Group, I'm talking about Core Civic, I'm talking about those folks who under the 13th Amendment are still slave owners, full stop, have got carte blanche to build not only new facilities, but incinerators at those facilities, and have the ability to pay $50,000 bonuses for apprehension wings. All that need to change is the national emergency. Negroes. We act like we can't be mass incarcerated. My whole generation got locked up, and they was more thuggish than y'all, more gangster than y'all. I'm talking about I came from Eazy-E's generation. I came from Pac generation. All they got to do is change the national emergency. The apprehension wing already there. Y'all don't buck against the police. And this is what I'm saying. All jokes aside, they having race soldiers spring break right now. They got their shirts up like it's girls gone wild. And you got more smoke. You got more smoke for Al Green than you do the leader of the fascist movement. Sit down somewhere. The difference between this era and the civil rights era is the people that stayed home can say something now. Back in them days, and people couldn't say nothing unless they was out front of some real people doing real things. That's the difference right now. And if you got a problem with that, check your heart, get out these comment section and reflect. Go ahead and get some namaste going.
Woosah.
Woosah your ears and come on back.
Yeah, because they're very heated here, okay?
I bet they are.
But I'm just going to summarize this. This is a man who, advocates for, like I said, racial justice, foreign policy, inequality, all of those things that we as Black people here too are crying about. Like, I don't mean crying long tears crying. I'm just saying we are constantly saying we want to be treated equal. We want equality. We want all of the things that this man is fighting for, right? So the fact that he recognized something that was blatantly racist and he said, you know what? I'm going to pull up and I'm going to make it clear. And he is justifying what he did, and then we hear Donald Trump justifying what he did, and yet
we're bad voter fraud. So much voter fraud. There's a lot of fraud.
And somebody just said that your imitation is spot on.
Thank you.
So, but yet I'm still seeing things like let me see here. Ice Baby.
Ice Baby.
Ice Baby. Yeah, they're saying
That's a white supremacist. I don't care if they're black. Moving right along.
Right, exactly.
That's a white supremacist. Go ahead.
I agree. Isaac says, I support what Al Green did, but he's still a sellout. Do you see this is what I'm saying?
Then hold on. Stop. If you support what Al Green did, but he's still a sellout, does that make you a sellout if you support what he did? Come on, genius. Come on back.
I think
think it out. Think it out.
Hold two things. I feel like he's a sellout in other areas, but I support what he did in this instance. But again,
tell me where he sold out. B, like, has anybody put like here's what I would like. While I'm talking, maybe you can search the comments because you can see him and I can't, Sister Emma. Can someone put in the comments a thing he did that is selling out? Was there something that he voted for? For example, I would love to give this example. I love me some Jasmine Crockett on most days. I like her. She talked fast. She reminds me of the sisters from around the way. Jasmine Crockett is also voted to expand funding for Israel and their genocidal war on Gaza. Well, Jasmine Crockett, that means to me that as good as you talk about bad built, blonde, butch body and all that, and I appreciated that. That gave me a laugh. That was
epic.
That was epic, but it makes me upset that you are voting to continue to fund the genocidal war in Gaza. So, right? That's an example. I'm just using Jasmine Crockett as
correct.
Right. So tell me in the comments, because if I miss something, I can say that I was wrong. If I was wrong, I was wrong. So put in the comments right now. Put in the comments, right, what did he vote for that was against civil rights? Did he vote for anti-black? Did he vote against reparations? Was there something that he did? Put that in the comments. No, he a sellout. Man, he just performing. No, he just trying to be.
I've not really seen any real.
There's no substance to it. If you feel that way, give me an example. I just gave you an example of Jasmine Crockett. I like her. I think she's pretty. I like sisters like that. But that don't mean that I'm down with her voting record in that aspect. I'm glad she voted against the gerrymandering. I don't like what she did with Israel. Give me some substance.
Right. And while I see some comments coming through, The Rock 02YW says Trump for king and mass deportations forever. Okay.
Massa, go ahead and lick Massa's boot a little harder. You, sir, just tap danced. I hope you have white gloves and a top hat on. That's tap dancing right there.
Yeah, I'm not getting any answers on what Al Green has, how he's a sellout yet. We're waiting.
We waiting. Let's talk about that.
Yes,
maybe I missed something.
You see now again. Oh, one person said Representative Al Green is an awesome brother. Okay, there's one positive.
Right.
Let's see, Jasmine. Oh, so now you mentioned Jasmine Crockett. So now Jasmine is a plant. Oh, wow.
Look, based on her voting record, see how I'm basing my opinion of her on substance? I'm basing it on substance. I appreciate what she did against gerrymandering in Texas. Thank you, Sister Crockett. Your voting record on Israel is disgusting. Horrible, Miss Crockett. Give me substance. Give me substance. If you dare said against Al Green, maybe I missed something. If you can tell me on this day he voted for this piece of legislation that was anti-black and enabled a negative consequence in the community, go ahead and show me that. Other than that, you got to be quiet. Put your phone down and listen.
Yeah, because like I said, all I'm seeing is his fight for black people and like our rights, our foreign policy, all of that kind of stuff. I'm, and again, there may be some things, I don't agree with, but at the end of the day, when I think about us, our community, which is what matters to me more than anything else, I'm going to hone in on that unless there's something he's doing that contradicts our community. Right. So as far as I'm concerned, I've not read anything to that extent where I feel like, oh, hold on a second. Hold on.
Any substance in the chat? Have you shown me a bill he voted for or against that harmed the black community and thwarted our progress? Can you show me that? I gladly discuss that. I would gladly discuss that. Like I said, nobody's beyond reproach here.
Yeah. No. No.
That's what I'm saying.
Damon is asking, show me the evidence in the inner city. of I guess of what are we talking about? What Representative Al Green has done? I'm assuming that's what they're talking about, because nobody seems to want to tell me what Donald Trump has done in the inner city. What has he done for the inner city?
Right.
You know, while he's over here posting memes of Obama and Michelle that have not been around for 6 years or whatever.
No, 10. It's been 10
at this point. Exactly. I just mean like they left office.
Right. No,
Right.
right. Obama's last year was 2016. That was a decade ago, for real.
So why are we, you know, but he was talking about 2020 being stolen. That's why I mentioned 6 years. I was doing the math.
Even Barack Obama, he was running against Joe Biden. So it's like, what?
So why the obsession?
Right. Okay. Let's answer that, Miss Emma, because we got 5 minutes left on this little live stream. So let's talk about the obsession that Trump has with Barack Obama. You know, size matters to Donald Trump. It really matters. Size matters. And of course, we're talking about crowd size here. I remember one of the first things that happened when Trump was inaugurated back in 2017 is that the only thing we had to compare it to was Obama's crowd size. That's the only thing we had. So we compared it to Obama's crowd size, and his was like minuscule in comparison, right? And he was like, everyone was there. We had so many people. They loved us. And when we looked at the helicopter photo, it was a fraction of Barack Obama's. Not only that, but see, I can hold two things to be true with Barack Obama at the same time. Barack Obama absolutely failed to push reparations. Barack Obama absolutely was in the pocket of Goldman Sachs. He did not bail out the people on Main Street who failed in the great crash of 2008. He bailed out Wall Street. He helped expand the drone bombing program. That's why I didn't vote for him in 2012, to be specific. So I just laid out what's wrong with Barack Obama. He gave lip service to the black community, had no black policy. That's what's wrong with Barack Obama. What's right with Barack Obama was this. The dude, behaviorally speaking, was exemplary when it comes to presidential behavior. The dude was absolutely overqualified to be president when it comes to prior achievements. When it comes to, like, for example, this dude was the president of Harvard Law Review. He was a constitutional professor. This dude had written 2 books. He was absolutely articulate. The man had a mastery of policy and was academically rigorous. When you put them presidential briefings on Barack Obama's desk, the intelligence community did not have to dumb it down. Barack Obama was
for him.
Or read it for him. He was competent on the global scale. The man worked from sunup to sundown. You saw it in the grayness of his hair and how fast he aged compared to Michelle. So in that respect, I just told you what was wrong with Barack Obama, but that part that's right with Barack Obama, oh, Trump can't handle that. He can't handle it. He can't handle it.
You know, he's one of those people that likes to be loved, right? It's important for him to be loved by everybody. So,
of course,
so when he sees that somebody else is loved, even after they've long since left office, even you just listed things that you didn't agree with. And I'm sure there are a lot of people, Black Americans, who agree with you about the things that, you know, where he dropped the ball, but he's still beloved. And that also bothers Trump. Now, Layla Brown says, I think y'all don't understand. Neglect is harm. He does nothing, and neither does Jasmine. So again, we're saying Al Green hasn't done. What nothing has he done? What neglect is he doing?
Y'all won't give me examples. That's what I'm saying. I just gave you examples of where Jasmine Crockett dropped the ball. I gave you concrete examples. I literally dug into her voting record. Where did he drop the ball, yo? Just show me where. Like literally, just show me.
Obama was DEI affirmative action hire.
That's a white
Obama was the
supremacist.
worst president for Black Americans. You know, all of that stuff. Okay, but we're talking about Al Green now, and I'm still not seeing, like, I've said
nobody's no Al Green
is doing. I said the things that he's fighting for our people. I'm still waiting for what has he not done. So he's neglected how? How has he neglected the community?
Like,
that's
are you
what
from?
I want to know.
Like, are you from his district, yo? Like, are you from his state? Can you tell me a project that we needed his signature on, that since he didn't sign it, the hood got gentrified? Show me a concrete example like that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or get out the check.
Right.
Get out the check. Right.
And Damon says, in every aspect, Black politicians have sold out the Black community. We don't care about that.
Okay. So like real talk, you run, yo. Like straight up and show us what it look like. Because what I found is that politicians from the local level actually be standing on business more than the national level. So when it comes, so if you like to blanket say they've sold us out all the way, all Black politicians, actually at what level? Local, state, municipal, or federal? Yeah. This is what I'm saying, right? Now he's at the national level, but show me his path. Show me his path that he neglected Black folks along the way. A concrete example. He voted for this and therefore we are harmed. He didn't vote for this and therefore we were harmed. Exactly. I can't, nobody. Are you from a state, district, city? Where you from? Where you from? Yeah. That's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I agree. So again, in summary, I'll say, look, I don't think there's a politician on the planet that will do everything right. I will say, as it relates to Barack Obama, as I said, even us over here were excited about him when he first came in office. And yet it was very much a womp womp at the end. Okay. It was very much a womp womp. I'll be the first to admit it. Okay. Because I think a lot of people were more attached to this Black man and the fact that this is going to be a first Black man
president,
ever to be a president, right, of the United States. And some people agreed with a lot of the things he said he was going to do, right? But then when it came down to it, all of that was in theory. And then when it came down to it and he came into office, there were a lot of things that Black people were expecting to happen that didn't happen. So,
and I gave concrete examples of where he dropped the ball.
Exactly. So
we could literally,
I'm not going to lie and say, oh, he was perfect. Nobody is, including Al Green. Okay.
Al Green ain't perfect.
So you can say that he's neglecting the community. I'm still not really seeing what exactly he didn't do or how he neglected the community. You're saying he didn't do anything. So what is it that you expected him to do that he hasn't done, that you feel like he should have done? Like I'm not getting that. But again, we can't really rely on the chat at the end of the day.
Do it. Can't do it.
I appreciate you all coming to hang out with us and have this conversation, but we're not really getting, we would love to engage with you, but we're not really getting.
We ain't getting no substance. No. For the people who mad at Al Green, I'm sorry. Y'all failed to deliver. You had the chance to do it. And I say that if there is a problem with Al Green, as no one is perfect, let's weigh that in the balance of a racist president who puts monkey memes up and forces Al Green to make that move. A move that a lot of y'all didn't make right now because y'all weren't even in a position to make an aim stand on business anyway. You just in the chat with your smartphone acting silly. So in the meantime, I will say I'm on the balance. I'm grateful for our brother Al Green on balance. I'm grateful for him. And
And Jesse Paris says he established this $9 billion program to support minority depository. I think that's what they meant to say. Institutions and community developed financial institutions that serve low income and minority communities.
Right. So there we have a concrete thing. Now I know my brother Jesse. Shout out to my brother Jesse. He's actually from my home state. And
hey Jesse, thank you.
Right, and because brother Jesse actually ran for office, he has a policy mind. I know that brother Jesse would have preferred for him to establish a Black first thing, a Black only thing. And because that's how Jesse would have played it. I actually voted for our brother Jesse. And I'll just say this: the minority joint still helped us. It may not have been specifically for us, but it still helped us more than it harmed us. That's what I said on balance. On balance.
The positives outweigh the negative.
On balance.
And that's my whole point, is that you're not going to get perfection. You're not going to get 100% of everything that you wanted. So that's why it's important to go read and see what policies? What are they offering? And yes, granted, sometimes it's all in theory and they don't, when the reality and you step into this job, and I agree with Whoopi when she said, nobody is qualified for the job until you get into the job. You know what I mean?
Right. And then we'll see if you qualify. That's what re-election's about.
President, in order to say I can be so there are a lot of things that we don't know. Things seem very seamless to do and make happen and all that other stuff. So we're not going to expect or get everything. But as far as I'm concerned, again, as it relates to this particular subject and this matter,
this subject,
I'm here for it. I'm with him when he's right. And that's my final word. What say you before we say goodbye?
I'll say go ahead and do y'all due diligence like our brother Jesse did. Shout out to you, big homie. I'll see you around the way. And thank y'all for tuning in to African Diaspora News Channel. Be on the lookout for more content.
All right. And thank you, Nancy. Nancy says Al Green stood on business, period. He did what he could do at the time. Much respect.
At the time, for sure.
And Jesse says, my problem with Al Green is that he's still on that minority language and not on lineage-based policy. And then he said,
as I told you he would. Yeah, that's how Jesse rolled. But that's my dog. I feel you, Jesse. We're going to talk about it, big dog.
Thank you so much. Jesse, you should come on too and talk with us.
For sure.
Okay, thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're a little over time. We have to love you and leave you. We shall see you on the next Facts Only Friday with Tej and Emma. Have a great weekend. See you again. Bye.
Peace.